You go on the internet and desire information about the Seventh-day Adventist Church and or Ellen G. White, who was the most influential leader of that group. Unfortunately, when you get there, you will find the internet mostly crammed and jammed with all kinds of posts and posters who have an obsession with trying to prove that Ellen G. White was a false prophet and that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is a cult. For every one post that defends the Adventist Church, there appears to be 100 that condemns it. Amazingly, posts like these come from people who preach that we must focus our minds on Christ only and that God will get us through any problem, so we must only focus on Him. Their obsession with taking huge timeouts attacking Ellen White and the Adventist Church are revealing. People therefore either believe a lie or believe there is no way to know who or what is right. Is there a way to know who is right? Is there a way to know who is lying? Yes, there is. But you have to be patient and you have to investigate. In this video, we're going to give you a shortcut where you can detect those who are lying or, that is, willingly struggling to deceive everyone. One main and unfailing way to detect false prophets is through exposing some of the most horrible posts publicly posted on the internet. Just after the 9/11 attacks, when America was searching the world for terrorists, some people instantly became eager and happy that the Patriot Act was passed and then began to post public death threats against all who are not Catholic. You heard right. They were thrilled that the Patriot Act was passed, but actually that we were stupid enough to allow it to be passed. We found many people who lie all the time actually living on the internet. There were periods in history when such people were around, guarding what the population were reading and watching in order to make sure they are deceived and don't understand what is going on. In particular, this happened a great deal within the communist regimes and the Nazi regime. The same tragedies are happening today, but also now mostly in America, and no one should wonder why. The fascist regimes already had security principles that mandated imprisonment without charge, indefinite detention, secret trials, disabling rights to prove innocence, and torture. Since America has adopted those old principles in the books of law since 2001 that the fascist regimes always had, should we be surprised to find propagandists everywhere? If you expose these public death threats, propagandists or liars will persistently attack you. Every time we found people lying, we entered to expose the errors they were saying. They then began evading, diverting the discussion, and insulting us. We then exposed the death threats, and then they always exposed who they were by their reactions. They will always forget to even remark about why there are no death threats against Catholics. They thought the Inquisitions featured both sides being barbaric. That was their understanding, but then they were not surprised to find a total absence of threats against Catholics. They will always forget to even be surprised that such threats against non-Catholics exist. They will act as if these threats are everyday or even necessary events, as if their inquisitions have returned over the whole world. That's right. Propagandists living on the internet are always militant Catholics. We call them Jesuits so as not to harm honest Catholics. Most Catholics do not support this kind of super terrorism. Here are the threats. To make it easy for the Last Judgment, every Christian must here and now plan on grouping all the Seventh-day arsonists, Jehovah's Witnesses, morons of Latter-day Aints, Baptists, and other cults they know in their neighborhoods, and burn them. They're going to burn anyway, so why don't we speed up the process? Have you burned a heretic today? Should be your motto. This post was posted by a monster under the name Shan. You may say, oh, that's just talking about a few Christian groups. That has nothing to do with me. Yet the very people who made the death threats are ecumenical. They're building a one-world church, and therefore have the habit of using the cliché, "An attack upon one is an attack upon all." Here, of course, they actually show their true colors and show they don't believe that cliché. "Hey, harlot Susan whore, for your sake, just to please your evil nature, I'm going to write it down in uppercase. I, the undersigned, condemn all Adventists, Latter-day Morons, and Jehovah's Nutnesses to extermination. All other Protestants are spared. Shan. All good Christians are encouraged to burn a heretic per day at the least. Burning worst heretics earn you most credit. The worst are Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses, Pentecostals, Baptists, Mormons, and other fundamentalists. These death threats have been shown to forums and even whole social systems. The typical reaction of these systems is to kick us off and delete our accounts. They had no compunction to even alert the authorities about these death threats right as the authorities are telling us they have to snoop all our private affairs because the need to capture terrorists is too great. Even most horrifying is the reactions that were given to us by our own soldiers in the military. They also began to attack us the same way. Why? The longer the wars continue is the more the military will support such threats. Our wars were actually always to purge undesirable soldiers. Here is one person posting by the fabricated name of Maud Gone, who attacks us for being upset that even our very lives are threatened. "We do not want you killed. We want you converted or isolated as one isolates an individual with a dangerous disease, since I'm concerned about lives being threatened. Whether or not you realize it, we already control your nation. We got Bush re-elected only after he came to Rome to swear allegiance to His Holiness the Pope, at that time the Blessed John Paul II. Maud wrote this after enduring whole countries are wondering where Bush got the fabulous ability to lie and kill. We founded the Department of Homeland Security, an extension of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, or the Inquisitions, just as we have been warning. Just as Jack Chick has been warning. Now listen very closely. We opened the southern border so that a huge influx of devout Hispanic Roman Catholics could take possession of the American Southwest and begin the rule of a new Catholic majority. Soon we will remove the 50-star field from the U.S. flag and replace with the crossed keys of Peter and the papal crown from the Church's flag, and you are powerless to stop it." Why do those same accusers ignore totally the words of death posted boldly on the internet and in the face of Homeland Security? We are Homeland Security. We are the military, and the President is secretly Catholic. Cardinal Levada's appointment to the CDF, the Pope's old post, is symbolic of the importance that the Curia places on the salvation of America. The old term, Papal States, will have a new and exciting meaning. Could it be that the Antichrist has not changed? His Holiness the Pope is the Vicar of Christ on earth. You ought to be respectful. He is the leader of all Christians, including you. Now, where did you ever read such things in the Constitution of the United States? Did the Constitution tell you the Pope is the head of all Christians? And yet the traitors who tell us these things insist we are not Americans, and they are the greatest original Americans. If you expose these bold death threats, all liars on the internet will instantly attack you and struggle to post and spam around your revelations. Administrators will kick you off their forums and will always forget to mention the dangerous threats of super-terrorism posted in the land of the free and the home of the brave.